Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Sheena and my pronouns are she, her.
Hello, I'm Tamara and my pronouns are also she and her.
Today we are talking about how to make the first move. This is our third episode in the dating season, and by now we found somebody who we can date, but we have to make the first move. Both to contact them and ask them on a date, but also to make the first move during the date. Hold their hands, give them a kiss, wherever we're comfortable.
Making the first move can be tricky in dating just generally, but when you're both of the same gender, it can be a little bit more tricky. Is that person actually open to dating you? Are they not? So how do we traverse this treacherous ravine?
Well, the very first thing is you need to overcome your fear of making the first move. Take a page from Nike's book and just do it.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well, here are some tips. Be decisive. Know what you want when you go into a conversation. Sometimes all you want to do is just make contact with that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't sit there and wonder whether or not you should message them. Message them. Hey.
What you're doing.
I don't recommend this though on social media. Do this if you have like their phone number or know them.
No, completely. Or if you're on a dating app where you're meant to be doing this kind of a thing, but don't try make a first move on social media, especially for someone you have never had a conversation with. If you've been kind of having conversations and you have already a friendship on social media, then it's different.
I completely agree because there are just so many people who just send you messages, hey, and all they are is like random catfish. To the point where I don't even answer those.
No, completely. And I hope you would be answering them even if they were looking for a serious date.
You'll never know.
I think being decisive is also important because if you're not decisive, especially with the language that you're using, you might find yourself either missing an opportunity to date or finding yourself friend-zoned.
Absolutely.
Or you might find yourself in a situation where you think you're on a date, but the other person thinks they're just watching a movie.
Oh, totally true. Which comes to the next point very nicely, which is be honest about where you're at. So if you want to go on a date, use the word date.
Yes. We've all watched the sitcom where everyone is trying to decide whether they're on a date or not.
Exactly. And just avoid that. This is part of the being decisive. Use the right kind of language when you're talking to a potential date and use the word date. Would you like to go on a date with me? Or I would very much like to go on a date with you.
Yes, and it is scary. Completely 100% agree with you guys out there. But it's important that you know where you stand and you know where they stand. And if they're not in a place where they want to date you or they just don't want to date, period, then rather that than creating anxiety over a situation that you have no idea that you're in.
Absolutely. I would rather not go on the date with the pretty girl than go on a date with her thinking it was a friendship thing.
Yes,
I think you just have way more heartbreak the second way around.
completely.
The next thing, now, let's say it all went smoothly and she said, yes, she'd love to go on a date with you because you're kind of cool. Now what? Now you're in the pre-date mode, right? Pre-dates can be really nerve-wracking. You've got this build-up of tension. You've got this, oh no, is she actually going to enjoy herself?
Is she actually going to pitch up?
Is she going to pitch up? So, do a pre-date confidence builder.
What is that?
There's a bunch of things you can do to build your confidence just before you actually go on the date. Power outfits.
Push-ups.
Push-ups, why not? Push-ups will release endorphins into your body and it'll make you feel happier. Power outfits, power music. And then sit and think of all the things that you have rocked at.
So basically wearing clothes that make you feel good and that you know you look good in.
Yes.
Not 80s sleeves.
No, not 80s. Well, unless you really like 80s outfits and feel confident in them.
True.
Then by all means. Power music, something that's happy, that's funky. You know the songs you sing in the shower in the morning as you like getting ready for the day. For you, tomorrow, it's Britney Spears.
Oh, totally. Actually, my one favorite song that never fails to put me into a great mood is Rock DJ by Robbie Williams.
There we go.
It's such a nonsense song, but it's just, I don't know, it pumps me up.
Listing things that you have succeeded in, that you rock at, also puts you in the mindset of, you can do this. You got this. You have overcome other things. Look at what you've done in your life. Even if it was literally just you passed your latest exam with flying colors, or you have done really well at a certain type of bodybuilding, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Stuff that makes you feel like you got this.
You can even like maybe list 5 ways someone is lucky to be dating you.
As long as you don't tell that person.
No,
your list.
completely, but to yourself beforehand. As we've heard in other episodes, a lot of people get into the trap of I'm unlovable, or no one wants to be with me, or dating's not worth it because it doesn't last. Maybe think about those things which you're a catch. Why are you a catch? You got great hair, you got a great sense of style, you're smart, you're funny, whatever it is. List those things and remind yourself that you are worth it. Because you totally are, and L'Oreal will be, right there with a sponsorship soon.
Another thing, the same way as the music and the outfits and the push-ups all, get you pumped up, jokes can actually relax you. Watch a 10-minute YouTube video of a stand-up comedian you really love. You'll be laughing, there'll be endorphins going, you'll feel much more relaxed, you'll feel much more like pumped and ready to go.
And a relaxed person is a much nicer person to be with.
Amen. Grooming. Keep your nails short. Brush your teeth. Take a shower before you go out. If you smell great and you feel like there's no spinach caught between your teeth, you're naturally going to be more confident.
Yes. And make sure that like the clothes that you're wearing on your date are not only something that you feel comfortable in, but that will look good to someone else as well. You're making an impression, you're going on a date.
But as much as you're making an impression to somebody else, I think being true to yourself. Now, this is an interesting thing because Tamara and I are very different in this regard. Being true to yourself is super important as well. But even so, even though that I'm pretty much a jeans and t-shirt kind of person, when I went out with Tamara, I would make sure I wore my nicest jeans and my nicest t-shirt.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I'm not saying change your sense of style because, ultimately, if you're looking for a relationship, you want someone who's going to accept you for who you are. And if you're a jeans and t-shirt kind of person, that's perfectly fine. But, do wear the nicer jeans. Don't wear the jeans that have, I don't know, like
spaghetti sauce stains on them.
There you go. Wear something that looks like you respect the situation and that, you know what I mean? Like.
And that you put some effort in and care. All right, so now you're on the date, right? So there's a couple of things you need to do when you're on the date that will allow you to make the first move. Okay. And by the first move, I mean like literally anything. From holding hands to giving her a goodnight kiss to, who knows, maybe you're going all the way.
Okay.
The first thing is let her know why you like her. Now, don't rush into the date first thing and say, wow, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and you have great boobs and such beautiful eyes. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just let it be part of the natural conversation at some point in the evening.
Yeah, and I think, it's important to, again, not come on too strong, not start on your first date ever laying out your entire future, in front of her. So, yes, show her your intent in terms of, what are you looking for? And hopefully it meshes with what she's looking for. Is she looking for a casual date? Is she looking for a hookup? Is she looking for a potential life partner? Don't go too fast too soon, even if it is just a hookup. A lady needs to be wined and dined.
I agree with that. I think it sort of feeds into the next point, which is have fun.
Yes.
Dating is fun. Choose cool, exciting places to go to do different types of things. Help her cross off some stuff on her bucket list. You know what I mean? So do something traditional in the first date where you can talk to each other nicely. So restaurants are great for this, or drinks, because it's a relatively quiet environment generally, and you can talk freely with one another. This is what you want to do because you want to listen to her.
Yeah, movies make a very bad first date.
They really do. Unless you go to a movie and then drinks afterwards, because then you can talk about the movie. It's kind of an icebreaker.
Unless the movie is something that one of you didn't enjoy. So I think for
Also
a
true.
first date, keep it simple. Just do one thing like a picnic or dinner, coffee, whatever it is, but something where you can actually spend time with each other and, getting to know each other a little bit better.
Absolutely. Thank you for being an awesome listener and supporting Tilt, the channel that brings you all the podcasts you want to hear. You're listening to Tilt. Find more podcasts on thelesbiantalkshow.com. Listening to her will give you ideas for future dates. It will give you more to talk about. It will give you the ability to know whether or not she's the kind of person you want to hang out with again.
Yes. Because even though, you asked her out, you might find, actually, this is not at all what I wanted.
Absolutely. And that happens, and that's totally cool too.
Yes.
Know that there are going to be awkward moments. But if you can get your game on and use those awkward moments to build a stronger bond and an experience with her, that is the ultimate thing. Something you can joke about 20 years from now.
It's like what kind of awkward moments? Like silences?
Oh, no,
dropping
not that
your-
kind of thing. Like, okay, say you in the middle of talking and you get so animated about something that you knock your water glass off the table.
Oh, okay.
Awkward silences. The best thing to do during awkward silences is to ask a question. Ask her something that you genuinely want to know. Don't stay to like boring, typical conversation topics that you don't care about. Ask her something interesting. Do you like playing video games? What's the last movie you watched?
And try, I think, also ask questions that won't result in one-word answers. Something that actually opens up a conversation.
So we're looking for open-ended questions. What do you think about something?
Cruises.
Yeah.
What was the last holiday you went on and why did you enjoy it? But people generally like talking about themselves, so usually asking questions isn't a problem unless you start getting monosyllabic answers. That's a clear sign that this person is not engaged, or maybe they're nervous. So test the waters with other types of questions and see if it is just the type of question you're asking or if it's the situation that's just not gelling. And maybe in that case, it's time to go, I think we're done with dinner. Is there something else you want to do? Or how about doing XYZ? Maybe they just want to go home. Maybe the date is not what they wanted.
If you're in a space though where you're engaging in interesting conversation, then at least it'll be interesting for both of you, even if there's no chemistry.
No, sure, but you do get some people who I think will get to a point where they're just so uninterested, even if the questions are about them. They just, yes, no, maybe Greece, sushi. And I think at that point, I think there's something else happening and you can try salvage it or not.
At that point, I don't know if you can salvage it or, even want to salvage it. Another thing is to be honest about what you're feeling. So, hey, I'm really enjoying getting to know you. It doesn't have to be like super, I'm going to marry you and have all the babies with you. It literally can be just like, I'm really enjoying getting to know you, but be genuine about it. If you're not enjoying getting to know her, this is cool. You can move on, be friends, hook up with the next person on your dating app. The whole point of dating is to find somebody who you actually want to date. The last point I have is, so now you've gotten to the point where you have listened to her and so you're more confident about what she likes to do, about her personality, about fun ideas for future dates. You've gotten to the end of the evening and now you want to kiss her. I'm going to say this because I think we take this for granted, like that we don't need to do this, but consent in all things. Consent in holding hands, consent in kissing, consent in sex, consent in all things. Ask her. The sexiest thing you can do is to be aware that she has the right to say no. Now, if you've had a good date, your endorphins are going, just say to her, I had a really great time. Can I hold your hand? I had a really great time. Can I kiss you?
And I think it's also important that when you're doing that first kiss, that you don't go in whole hog with it. Make your first kiss sweet. Unless, between right at that moment there's a very strong, passionate thing between you two. And maybe it's erring on the side of hookup and not just a date. I mean, that's something different, but
Even then, though, I would say I think start off sweet. Because you can rapidly progress from sweet.
it's true, you can.
But first kisses tend to be terrible.
Yes. Too much teeth, too much open mouths, too much spit. Less is more in this case.
Yes, exactly. So this is why I say start off sweet, because then you can progress and you can learn each other without it being so awkward.
And then I think another first step as well is, making that first step to make a second date.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. And I think too often people like to give people space, or they want to play games that they think they need to play in terms of who makes the next move or whatever it is. But if you've had a really genuinely nice time, maybe it's a good idea to ask straight away. I've had a great time. I'd love to see you again. Would you like that? And then up front, yes or no.
Absolutely. And the thing is, this goes back to the points of being decisive and being honest.
And you don't have to make like concrete plans straight away, but at least then. You don't go home and you sit stressing for the next 3 days, giving yourself an ulcer about whether she likes you or not.
Absolutely. And who should contact who first? I think you're right. Even if you at that point nail it down and say, look, I really liked you. I had a lot of fun. Maybe we can do this again next Friday.
Yeah.
If she said yes, and this is another nice thing about consent. Consent allows you to sort of gauge where you're at with her. If she says yes to holding hands, to kissing, she's probably going to say yes to the next date.
That's true, because you already have some form of dialogue and you already know that she's on a yes track versus a I'm not so sure track or a completely no track.
Absolutely.
So I think the key with dating and making a first move is to actually remove ambiguity from all situations. If you go in firstly knowing that you're going on a date and that she knows that you're going on a date, knowing what the point of the date is it just to meet someone? Is it to have sex? Is it to find a long-term partner? And then next, like, what's happening after the date?
Yeah. If you've listened to her, if you've had fun, if she's consented, you're on a really good track then to dating.
Yes. So well done you.
Absolutely. High five yourself for a good first date. It doesn't matter if there were awkward moments in the date, if you're able to overcome them, had great conversations. Awkward moments happen for all of us.
It's where the best stories start.
That's all for this episode of Let's Talk About It. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Tamara. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, as well as rate it a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcast ratings is what determines which podcast gets shown to whom. So, the more podcast ratings, the better. So please go help us out there. Let us know if you follow this advice or if you have other advice. Email us on podcast@thelesbiantalkshow.com. That's all for this week. Bye.
Bye.